Cognitive biases. Not knowing them will sabotage your marketing. Hi guys, this is Matei from Inovagate, and in this video I'll be talking about a more psychological topic that's crucial when it comes to advertising and marketing in general. We'll be talking about cognitive biases. But first I have here a quote that says, "Information is a sword with two blades. If clear, presented to those who can understand it, and if packed in a format that guides towards decision, then it is pure gold. But if it's the other way around, then it is more of an obstacle." Okay, so back to cognitive biases. We think of ourselves as being rational beings, and it's true up to a point, but the thing is that our decisions are highly influenced by emotions, by social interactions, by different beliefs that we may have, and also by our limited brain processing power or limited memory storage. Okay, and here is where cognitive biases come into place. They are basically, let's say, mental shortcuts that help us take decisions, good or bad, right? But the thing is, these decisions are made without taking into consideration all the necessary elements, and also they don't really have a solid logic behind them. Okay, so I'll go now one by one through the most important cognitive biases that any marketing professional should know. But I want to tell you that you should do good with them, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to feel good about yourself, you want to feel good about your relationship with others, with the world in general, and also you don't want to play with karma. Okay? So the first cognitive bias, the repetitive exposure bias. People like more other people or things they are familiar with. Okay, so you get familiar with someone by having a repetitive exposure, and this is why the ad impressions are actually beneficial. So you want to run as many ads as you can, right? And people like see those ads. Then this is one of the reasons why the retargeting ads function so well, and they bring more conversions than other type of ads, because the retargeting ads are showing to those who already know about you, who already visited your website, interacted with your Facebook page, and so on. And there's also another use case study for the repetitive exposure bias. You can segment your content into smaller pieces and use them on social media, right? So like having a repetitive exposure by pushing, let's say, each day a small piece of that content. Whereas if you would keep the big piece, you would just like have one piece at a couple of days, right? Then you can also, related to the content, you can also refurbish content and transform it in other formats, new formats. Let's say you can have a video and take that video, transform it into an article and into an infographic and all that, and again obtain repetitive exposure on different channels. Cool. Now I'll go to the next cognitive bias, which is the middle option bias. So most of the people will choose the middle option. There are many studies that show it. When they have multiple options between, let's say, prices, offers, products, they will tend to choose the middle option. And let's say that you have right now three prices: a low price, a middle price, and a high price. Most of the people will choose the middle price. But what's interesting is that the rest of the people will split between the low price and the high price, right? And you'll end up with a majority that is either on the middle price or on the high price. So basically, by having a middle price, you push everything, you push the profits, everything up, right? So you push everything up towards the higher end. And yeah, this is beneficial because it increases your profits. It's always better to have clients on higher end plans, right, and not on lower end plans. Cool. And yeah, it's hard to be wrong when you are on the middle, right? And this will bring us to the next bias, which is loss aversion bias. People don't want to lose what they already have, and we are also talking about conceptual things, not only about concrete things with this bias. This is why limited offers work so well. Basically, they are an option for you to do something till a specific moment in time, or till something happens again in the future. Okay, so I'm using this strategy a lot when running ads for my clients, and also for Inovagate when we are organizing meetups. I'm saying, for example, that we have a limited number of seats, and this is true because we don't want to get overwhelmed by the big number of participants, so we limit the seats. But again, I'm using this in the ads, right? So it's not just for me or somewhere in the background where I'm limiting the seats. This is up front. What happens is that people will actually want to register even more when they see it's something limited, because they don't want to lose that option, right, to be there at the meetup. Cool. And it's also the scarcity that plays its part. Another case, if you want use case for this, is when companies have free trials, free demos. That's because when you subscribe for a free trial, free demo, after you use the service a little bit, it will be really hard to stop it. And I'll give you a personal example. A couple of months ago, I subscribed to a free Netflix trial. That's because I had a couple of free days and wanted to watch something on Netflix. And if you're curious what, it's Casa de Papel. But the thing is, I only watched one episode, had no time to continue watching it. Okay, so when the Netflix trial was ending, it felt really, really bad for me to close the Netflix subscription. Although I 100% knew that I don't have the time to watch Netflix. Okay, so yeah, this is the loss aversion bias in action, if you want. Cool. Now the next bias is the confirmation bias. People tend to make choices that are aligned with their beliefs, that confirm their beliefs. Okay, so you don't want to change what people are thinking, you don't want to change their beliefs, and this applies if you are a company, but this also applies for you as a private person. You don't want to change what your friends are thinking, you don't want to change your family's beliefs, and so on. You don't want to do that. It's a really stupid move. You just want to go with the flow in general. Okay, so when you are doing these ads, or when you want to tap, when doing the ads and want to tap into this bias, you should just frame everything, frame the product, frame the service that resonates with what people are already thinking, with their beliefs. Cool. And this brings us to the next bias, which is the framing bias. Okay, so each product or service can be framed in a particular way. And let's take, for example, website builder software, which has two functions. One function allows you to customize a website that you already have. It's built, it's done. And another option is to create a new website from scratch. So when doing the ads for this type of for this particular product, you'll have to do two types of ads. You'll have to do two different strategies. One that's framing everything under the concept of customizing easily your website, and another one that focuses on creating a new website. So it's basically framing the product in two different ways so that it will resonate maximum with particular people who are searching for particular things, right? So those who are searching to customize their website will resonate with the product that's framed as being specifically for customizing websites. And again, those who are looking for a software solution to help them create a new website will resonate especially with a product that's perfectly done for their particular use case. So you see where I'm going? Cool. Now, the next bias is the authority bias. And yeah, this is straightforward. Each industry has its own experts. So whatever product or service you have, you are in an industry and that industry has its experts. And those experts can be considered authority, okay? And people tend to trust authority. They listen to authority, they trust it. So, have a fire safety product, then use a fireman in uniform to present the product. People will trust him. If you have an SEO software, perfect. Use some SEO experts to highlight the benefits of the product, or just mention them in the ads. Something around that, just play with it. If you have some sort of product that's related to cars, just use a race driver that knows his thing with cars, okay? And people understand that he knows his thing and they trust him because he's a race driver. I mean, if we don't trust him with cars, who should we trust, right? So think about it. And again, I want to mention that it's really easy to implement this in advertising. Sometimes you only need an image. Cool. Now, the next bias is the social proof bias, and we basically tend to look to other people to reassure ourselves that we are taking the right decision. And yeah, this is a really powerful bias. You should always add more social proof to your ads, but I won't go deep into it because I already approached this topic in another article and video. You can search for them either here on YouTube or on Inovagate's blog. It's struggling with advertising, just try this campaign, okay? Or just search like struggling Inovagate or something like that. You will get the article, a lot of good insights there, or video. Cool. Now the next one is first or last impact bias. Okay, so people tend to remember the things that are either first or last in a series of some sort. So this can apply to your article, to your videos, to your, I don't know, marketing funnels, or maybe to other types of experience. And what's important here is to actually use the best lines, the most powerful lines, either at the beginning or at the end of the series. Cool. The next one is the risk aversion bias. Risk aversion is huge. People will do almost anything to avoid risk, and at the end of the day, why should you take risk just for the sake of it, right? Makes no sense. So, how to tap into this bias? Well, you can try using reassuring words like secured checkout, or having a secure website. SSL these days is a must. Then using a free trial, a free demo, already mentioned this. Also, you can have a money back guarantee. If you don't like our product or service, then just we'll give you the money back, right? There is no risk there. And also, you can use different visuals that make you trustworthy, like, let's say, credit card icons for the type of credit cards that you're accepting on your payment gateway on your website. Okay, so you got the gist of it. And last bias is called the truth illusion bias. This is an important bias, and you can see it a lot in politics. Politicians use it. Basically, when you are repeating something over and over, it becomes true. It's a crazy bias, if you ask me, but it works. So when I said politicians, even like top politicians are using this a lot, and I won't give names, but you will hear politicians saying a word or two words like 3 times or 4 times in a single sentence. Okay, good. And I'm not saying here that you should say things that you cannot back up or to lie. In no case, no. What I'm saying is that you should know your advantages and the things that make you shine, and use them again and again and again and again and again in the ads, on your website, on all the channels that you may have. Use them again and again and again, because they will grow and they will be really powerful at a point further in time. Cool. So finally, on Wikipedia there's a list of many biases, with all the biases that you might find, because we might discover new biases. So I'm sure that we have a lot of biases and we don't know all of them, but yeah, all the biases that are right now documented. So I'll put a link from Wikipedia, I'll put it in the description of the video. Check it out, it's interesting. And yeah, hope this helps. Also, I want to say this again, please use these biases to do good. I mean, there's already a lot of crap in the world and you don't want to contribute to that further. And at the end of the day, it's much more easy, simpler to be on the good side, right? To actually bring value with your products, with your marketing, with your company. Again, it's much more easy and much more rewarding for you as a person. Yeah. Make sure you hit subscribe. If there is any particular issue or needed advice, just comment it here, because I can do the next video about it. Also, if you want my help further, you can book a paid email or Skype consulting. You can pre-order my advertising book that will be published at the beginning of next year at a special price. And also you can hire us to run the ads for you. That's it. Cheers, guys.